an invited visit to her residence, and this year. An appeal she filed with the Rangoon District Court was rejected, and her legal team is still trying to go to the highest court now. Anyone who is closely monitoring the situation in Burma believes it was politically motivated one, and indication of there was no independent judiciary system, even rule of law in Burma. Even under these circumstances, Aung San Suu Kyi extended an olive branch to the head of the military junta, expressing her willingness in her letter that she's willingness to work with the military for the lifting of the sanction, and she expressed that she wants to study the impact and the nature of the sanction imposed by other nations. So in order to explore that, she requested to meet with the US, EU, and Australian ambassador or diplomats in Rangoon. So in response to her letter, that military allowed her to meet with US Chelsea Affairs and UK ambassador on behalf of EU and Australian ambassador in Rangoon. After that, she was allowed to meet other European delegation. And now, in accordance with its new policy approach, the United States also sent a delegation, high-level delegation, as the first time, led by the Assistant Secretary of State, Mr. Kang Campbell. So they had 2-hour-long discussion with Aung San Suu Kyi. What I'm trying to say here is that Aung San Suu Kyi is still trying with the Nobel laureate spirit, to bring the best solution for peaceful solution in Burma. And all these current talks, emergence of the existing talks, because of her inspiration with the Nobel laureate's mindset. So I would like to say that at present, person unknown Aung San Suu Kyi health and spirit is in fine tune, and she welcomed the initiative of the United States approach, balance between the sanction and engagement, high-level engagement. So current development also indicating that international community can play a greater role to foster the advance, the opportunity in Burma to become an open society. So for the first time, the military is badly needed international recognition and support for the election they're preparing to be held in 2010. So we believe this is a very opening opportunity for Burma if the international leadership and community can take this opening opportunity correctly and effectively. So having said that, on behalf of Aung San Suu Kyi, our leader, as she needs more of your support, stronger support from you than ever. So we want to request on behalf of her to use your liberty to help gain freedom with dignity and assist her endeavor to peaceful changes in Burma and a nation with human rights and without violence in the future. So your support is very crucial for Burma as well as for Aung San Suu Kyi. I wish all the best. This gathering of the eminent leader will produce the most outstanding result for the better war without violence. Thank you very much.
The floor to Mr. Agazio Loiero, Governor of Regione Calabria. Jetzt gebe ich das Wort am Governor des Regione Calabria, Agazio Loiero.
Mit den Gefühlen und der Begeisterung with the emotions of yesterday, I would like to say that it gives me great satisfaction to be once again amongst the participants at this summit of the Nobel Peace Prize laureates held here in Berlin to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the fall of the wall. First of all, I would like to formally thank the President of the Laureates Summit, Mr. Mikhail Gorbachev, as well as the co-president, Mr. Walter Veltroni, and by the same token, greet the Mayor of Berlin, Mr. Klaus Wowereit, as well as the representatives of all the distinguished authorities with whom the Calabria region has begun to work with, such as the Kennedy Foundation, the Walesa Foundation, and the Betancourt Foundation. My brief speech will be brief. However, I would like to reflect upon one of the themes of this summit, which speaks firmly against the walls of intolerance, and why we need to bring it down. Because we need to bring it down. We have a duty to defend human dignity and to defend those essential values that make up this dignity. Because each one of us can also find himself or herself on the other side. Because the world is already united on important policies in this sense. I would like to tell you, if I may, the story of my region, Calabria, a region that is often thought of as the one at the bottom of the list. But it simply isn't. It is capable to be one of the first regions of Italy to give signs of modernizing its ideas. Calabria is situated in the southernmost tip of Europe and has become the landing place of many men and women fleeing from war and poverty, seeking protection and refuge. We are presently experimenting not only to fulfill our ethical and legal duties imposed by our constitution, but to use it as an opportunity to enhance local development. To this end, we are testing what we call soft integration, not forced integration. That means an integration measured on the needs of the local people as an alternative to an integration that is often, too often, associated with the words illegal immigration or rejection. This is a choice that runs contrary to an Italy that has withdrawn, and Calabria has brought about a law that is unique in its sense. Our law, the UN High Commission for Refugees has clearly distinguished us as as having a law that could serve as a model for the rest of Italy. And it is really born out of the experience of towns in Calabria where refugees coming on several occasions at the end of the 90s have long since been engaged and implied in numerous tasks of craftsmanship and local activities, and they live in perfect harmony with the local population, and thus promoting the economy of the region that otherwise would have been, yes, condemned to neglection and decadence. So, we would like to extend this model to all the region. And that is for this reason that this law finances projects that have been promoted by local communities. They take charge of these projects together with the immigrants, and this is especially dedicated to areas which have been depopulated in a sense, or where the population has emigrated. This is the story of a marginal region, of a marginally known region, which for historical, geographic and cultural reasons voluntarily chose to consider immigrants as a valuable resource rather than a heavy social expenditure. It is my hope that this Calabrian model will become highly contagious and exported everywhere. It honors me to see that Germany, has recognized the potentials of this new model of integration, such as, for example, great filmmaker Wim Wenders, who chose to tell our story in a film. Last September, the maestro himself came to Calabria to shoot a short film on a refugee story entitled The Flight Il Volo. This movie was co-produced with the Calabria Regione and is the first of its kind to be filmed in 3D. It will make its debut just before Christmas, and it will tell their story. I would like to end thanking you for your attention.
Pleased to give the floor to Mrs. Caterina Zagladina, the President of the Permanent Secretariat of the Nobel Peace Laureate Summit, who will be opening the summit's works. Ich freue mich sehr, das Wort zu übergeben, Frau Caterina Zagladina, Präsidentin des Sekretariats des Gipfeltreffens der Nobelpreisträger. Bitte.
Summit of Nobel Peace Laureates Summit. The Summit of Nobel Peace Laureates starts its work. As it is the 10th summit, I do believe this could be considered as an anniversary. It is 10 years of joint, fruitful and successful work of the Nobel Peace Laureates that give to the world documents such as the Charter of the World Without Violence and the Rome Declaration. The topics suggested for the works and discussions at the summit are of global and eternal character. Resolution of these problems are ensured by the efforts of those who are present here, Nobel Peace Laureates. And here I would like to use the words of the Nobel Peace Laureate, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We are dependent on each other in so many ways that we can no longer live in an isolated communities and ignore what is happening outside those communities. And we must share the good fortune that we enjoy. We shall strive to understand what peace and happiness are, not only in the world but also in each of us. The unique experiences and knowledge of each laureate and the roads they went in their lives make these meetings a place where we can find the true meaning and understanding of the word peace. Thank you for joining us today.
So now the first session will start. 20 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall, what were its implications and what has changed since then? We will have the speech from Nobel Peace Laureate Professor Mohamed Yunus, Lech Wałęsa, Frederick Willem de Klerk, Ahmed Kadrama representing Nelson Mandela. We will have as a moderator the journalist of NBC, Tom Brokaw. Can you please join us on the stage? And we will have from the International Peace Bureau, Mr. Urban Gibson. Mr. Gorbachev is now in a meeting with the President of Germany, but he will be back afterwards. So I would like now to give the floor to Professor Mohamed Yunus to give his first speech. Thank you.